If you walked into a cinema in the 1970s, you'd see a man on the screen, wild curly hair, innocent yet manic eyes. He'd laugh, but there was always sadness in his gaze. His name was Gene Wilder, and he wasn't a comedian, he was a poet, one who cried behind the laughter, who told fairy tales to children but whispered truths to adults. This is Gene Wilder's journey from Milwaukee's silent house to Hollywood's bright screen, and from there back to silence again. 30 scenes, 30 laughs, 30 tears, and perhaps for the first time you'll see the fragile heart beneath that wild laughter. June 11th, 1933, in a small house in Milwaukee, Jerome Silberman was born. His father was a Russian immigrant, his mother Jeanne a housewife. But the house was never silent, because Jeanne was sick. Heart disease, rheumatism. Most days she couldn't get out of bed, and little Jerome would watch her. "Why are you crying, Mama?" Jeanne would smile. "I'm not crying, sweetheart, just tired." One day the doctor came. He pulled Jerome aside. "Your mother is very sick. Don't stress her. Make her happy." Jerome was 6 years old, and that day he understood. Laughter was a responsibility. Every day he'd go to his mother's room, do little tricks, walk funny, make sounds. Jeanne would laugh, and Jerome would feel something inside. Power, but also weight. When Jerome was 7, his mother died. No one in the house spoke. His father cried silently. Jerome went to his room. The woman he'd lived to make laugh was gone. "What do I do now?" he asked himself. He found no answer, but the voice inside whispered, "Continue." In high school, he joined the drama club. The first time he stood on stage, he felt something. Mother was gone, but there was an audience. He could make them laugh. "I should be here," he thought, and he stayed. He studied theater at the University of Iowa. He was serious, disciplined. He wanted to be an actor, not a comedian. His teacher said, "You're funny, Jerome, but you're not using it." Jerome answered, "Comedy is serious business." He moved to New York, studied with Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio, method acting, deep, painful, real. Gene wasn't doing comedy anymore. He was living characters. "Comedy is a mask," Strasberg said, "but you must show the pain beneath the mask." Jerome Silberman was too long, too heavy. He changed it. Gene Wilder. Wild but gentle, crazy but controlled. The name freed him. He was no longer Jerome. He was Gene. In the early 1960s, he went to England, studied at Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, Shakespeare, classics. Gene was a serious theater actor, not comedy, tragedy. But inside, that child was always there, the one who made his mother laugh. He returned to New York, played small roles on Broadway. No one noticed him. One day, he'd think, one day someone will see. And he waited. The phone rang. "Gene Wilder?" "Yes." "This is Mel Brooks. I have a film. The Producers. You're playing Leo Bloom." Gene couldn't believe it. "Why me?" Mel laughed. "Because you're terribly funny but don't know it." The Producers was filmed. Gene played Leo Bloom. Neurotic, cowardly, wild. But everyone remembers that scene. "I want to be a producer." Hysterical, crazy, but equally real. Gene opened his eyes wide, screamed, and the world saw him for the first time. An offer came for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a children's film. Gene hesitated. "I'm a serious actor." But he read the script. Wonka wasn't just a sweet man. He was mysterious, dark, sad. Gene said, yes. When creating Wonka, Gene made one condition. "My first scene, I won't just walk in. I'll limp, then I'll fall, then I'll somersault." The director asked, "Why?" Jeanne answered, because from that moment on, no one will know if I'm telling the truth or lying. The film was shot. Jeanne played Wonka quietly. He didn't shout, didn't exaggerate. He just looked. That look, curious, strange, sad. Children saw him on screen, and they both laughed and felt a little scared, because Wonka wasn't just funny, he was real. Mel Brooks came back. Young Frankenstein, you're Dr. Frankenstein. Jeanne smiled. Frederick. What? His name is Frederick Frankenstein, and it's not Frankenstein, it's Fronkensteen. Mel understood. Jeanne wasn't just acting, he was creating that scene. The Frankenstein monster awakens. Jeanne screams, "It's alive!" But this wasn't just a scream, it was an explosion. Years of suppressed energy, joy, madness. Jeanne let himself go in that scene, and on screen it became magic. In Blazing Saddles, he played Cowboy Jim, calm, melancholic, odd. In one scene, he sings, "I'm tired." Jeanne's eyes held real exhaustion because he wasn't just acting, he was feeling. He worked with Gilda Radner on Hanky Panky. Gilda was a comedy genius, Saturday Night Live star. Jeanne fell in love with her. "You're crazy," Jeanne said. Gilda laughed. "So are you." And they found each other. They married in 1984. Both were comedians. Both were fragile. "We're perfect," Gilda would say. Jeanne would smile. "No, we just understand each other." Gilda got sick, ovarian cancer. Jeanne was devastated. "No, not her, please." But cancer didn't listen. Gilda fought. Jeanne was by her side, every day, every night. May 20th, 1989, Gilda died. She was 42. Jeanne couldn't speak, couldn't cry, just sat. "I couldn't make her laugh," he finally said. "I couldn't save her." After Gilda, Jeanne withdrew from cinema. "I'm not funny anymore," he said. Friends objected, but Jeanne was determined. Comedy had lost its meaning. He started writing novels, memoirs. My French Whore, The Woman Who Wouldn't. The books weren't as famous as his films, but Jeanne didn't care. "Now I write for myself," he said. In 1991, he married clinical oncologist Karen Webb, a quiet woman, calm. "You healed me," Jeanne said. Karen smiled. "No, you were already healed. You just remembered." In the 2000s, Jeanne rarely appeared. An interview, a documentary. But mostly he was home, writing, reading. "Are you happy, Jeanne?" a friend asked. Jeanne thought, yes, for the first time, yes. In the 2010s, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Jeanne shared it with family, but didn't announce it publicly. "I want to leave quietly," he said. And he did. Alzheimer's took Jeanne slowly. Sometimes he'd remember Gilda, sometimes Wonka, sometimes just his mother Jeanne. "Mama, I made you laugh, didn't I?" Karen would hold his hand. "Yes, Jeanne, you made everyone laugh." August 29th, 2016, Gene Wilder died at his home in Connecticut. He was 83, Alzheimer's complications. The family announced the news 3 days later because Gene had wanted to leave quietly, and he did. Gene Wilder is remembered as a comedian, but he didn't just make people laugh, he made them think. Wonka, Frederick Frankenstein, Jim, all were masks. But beneath the mask, Gene was always there, fragile, gentle, deep. Today, Gene Wilder's films are still watched. Children see Wonka and laugh, but they also look into those eyes, and they feel something. Sadness, magic, truth. Gene Wilder didn't shout, he whispered, but his whisper was more powerful than a scream. Forever. So how do you remember Gene Wilder? As Wonka or as the owner of those innocent yet deep eyes? Share with us in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss another journey through cinema's quiet heroes.